Welcome to the KZGN News. Today we're bringing news about another house fire. The president will do executive orders on more gun control, the latest presidential polls, today's KZGN Talking Points editorial, weather, sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Winnick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. So today we have a report of another house fire in Ridgecrest. The cause of the fire appears to be a cooking fire. There were no injuries. The home was a total loss valued at $150,000, with contents lost at about $100,000. Equipment that responded to the fire were Engines 74, 77, 75, 73, Battalion 7, Prevention 2, and China Lake 21. Total personnel on scene was 21. Here's what happened. Sunday at 5:40 p.m. in the afternoon, the Kern County Fire Department received a call for a structure fire in the 1100 block of Shelby Court in Ridgecrest. Ridgecrest Fire Station Engine 74 arrived on scene to a 1,400 square foot single-family dwelling with the kitchen fully engulfed with fire. The first arriving crew pulled hose lines and began an aggressive interior attack of the fire. A primary and secondary search of the home was completed. The second engine crew immediately secured a water supply, and crews were able to extinguish the fire contained to the kitchen and attic area above the kitchen. The fire was controlled within 45 minutes. 4 residents in the home were displaced. Salvation Army and Red Cross were contacted and are working with the family to secure temporary housing. Due to working smoke detectors, family members were notified of the emergency and exited the home safely. Here's a reminder from the fire department. Always maintain a fire extinguisher in the kitchen and always change the batteries in all smoke detectors in the spring and fall seasons. As U.S. President Barack Obama presses forward with his efforts to establish further gun control, Republican presidential candidates have come out against the initiative with all guns blazing. Obama is expected to sign off on a number of proposals aimed at limiting gun violence this week, following a meeting with Attorney General Loretta Lynch on Monday. Among the gun controls reportedly considered by the Obama administration are the expansion of background checks and ensuring more sellers become licensed. The U.S. is divided on the issue of gun control, with the influential NRA lobbying a powerful force on both sides of the congressional aisle. Congress is likely to block the latest efforts, and the president is said to be seeking alternative ways around this, including executive orders. This president is a petulant child, said candidate Governor Chris Christie. The fact is, if he wants to make changes to these laws, go to Congress and convince the Congress that they're necessary. But this is going to be another illegal executive action, which I'm sure will be rejected by the courts. That was Governor Christie making those statements. Donald Trump told CBS he would reverse any executive orders and veto gun regulations if he was elected. He said, "We have plenty of rules and regulations. There's plenty of things they can do right now that are already there. They don't need to do them." Jeb Bush has also criticized Obama, saying the gun show loophole does not exist and that people who want to occasionally sell guns should be able to do so. Marco Rubio has promised to reverse any executive action on gun violence. Rubio said, "On my first day in office, behind that desk, don't worry, those orders are gone," he told a crowd in New Hampshire on Sunday. Meanwhile, Ted Cruz raffled off a rifle engraved with the Ted Cruz logo. Democrat presidential hopeful Hillary Clinton has adopted a stance favoring restrictions on gun control in what could be seen as an effort to differentiate herself from Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Sanders has voted against gun regulations in the past, reportedly due to the large gun-owning population in Vermont. But Sanders now supports background checks for gun shows and online sales. So the battle has begun. Of course, what really becomes the issue is when the ATF implements any of these new executive orders. Until that happens, the real effect is unknown. That will probably be when the NRA will initiate court action to block these executive orders. And the truth of the matter is, none of these proposals would have done anything to stop the recent shootings. The latest poll by Gravis for Nevada has revealed that both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton hold commanding leads over their respective opponents in the presidential race. In the Democratic race, the latest numbers are Hillary Clinton at 50%, Bernie Sanders at 27%. In the Republican race, the latest numbers are Donald Trump at 33%, Ted Cruz 20%, Marco Rubio 11%, Ben Carson 6%, with Jen Bush in fifth at 5%. Trump continues to dominate the party. Ted Cruz follows in second, and Marco Rubio shows somewhere in third. Trump is the man to beat and the popular choice for the Republican Party, but many critics still question his ability to lead and whether or not he will fizzle out by the time the primaries roll around. For the Democrats, Clinton is still beating Bernie Sanders by a decent margin. Her campaign has been steadily gaining momentum over the last few months, and Sanders has failed to dent into her polls. While his debate performances have been solid, they haven't been good enough to steal votes, and many are questioning his ability to overtake Clinton in the polls. One of Sanders' biggest achievements has been his campaign's ability to raise more donations than Clinton. If he can put the donation money to good use, he may be able to push forward and convince undecided voters that he is the best candidate to represent their interests. Now stay with us for a story about businesses accommodating religious beliefs during the workday. Thanks for staying with us. In news about businesses having to accommodate religious needs for their employees, we get this story from Colorado. About 150 Muslims were fired from their jobs at a beef processing plant in Colorado for failing to show up for work over a prayer dispute. Last month, a group of 11 workers at Cargill Meat Solutions in Fort Morgan, Colorado, wanted to go pray at the same time in a room in the plant that has been set aside for prayer and reflection. Their supervisor asked that the group break up into smaller groups to not affect production. The workers complied with the supervisor's request and went in smaller groups to pray. But after their shift ended, 10 of the 11 workers resigned, turning in their badges and hard hats. News of the dispute spread to other plant employees, and about 150 Somali workers missed work for 3 days in protest. Based on Cargill's attendance policy, the company fired those 150 workers who failed to come to work for 3 consecutive days without giving any form of notice, Martin said. Many are now applying for unemployment as the company looks for new hires. The Council on American Islamic Relations, CARE, and the Muslim workers who were fired after the prayer dispute said that accommodation requests were handled in a discriminatory manner by plant managers, according to a press release. Although some circumstances surrounding the prayer dispute remain vague, Jailani Hussein, a spokesman and executive director of CARE, told the Denver Post that a plant policy allowing short prayer breaks at various times during the day was changed, and Muslim workers were told to go home if they wanted to pray. Cargill released a statement saying that the company has policies specific to attendance and religious accommodations and makes reasonable attempts to provide religious accommodations for its employees. Martin said the company's policies have not changed. The plant has 2 reflection rooms for all of its 2,100 employees to use for prayer. There are times where we have to sequence how many people are allowed to go pray, so that production is not slowed down. Martin said the company tried to work toward a solution with the workers, without success. Although the company is in the process of hiring new employees, it is possible those were fired that may be able to reapply for their old jobs. The company has a 6-month waiting period before reapplying, but Martin said that waiting time may be reduced. More than 500 Somalis continue to work at the plant, Martin said. Now it's time for the 107th KZGN News Talking Points editorial. Here's today's topic. The Democrat candidates are weak to not accept a debate invitation hosted by Fox News. Well, yesterday, a report on the New Year's Eve celebration Fox News ran on New Year's Eve. Almost every Republican offered a short video clip of their message to us for New Year's Eve. However, only Governor O'Malley from the Democrat candidates offered a message. It was a very short message, but at least it was a message to us. Many asked where was Clinton's and Sanders' message. I wondered the same thing. The Fox hosts during the program made it clear that all candidates were offered the same message offer. The candidates could say anything they wanted, and Fox would run it unedited. And yet, Clinton and Sanders did not provide a message. This is Clinton and Sanders continuing to show their total intolerance of a news network. Fox also reports that they have offered the Democratic candidates a debate. They both also have not agreed to a Fox News-sponsored debate. So I have to ask you, Clinton or Sanders supporters, please tell me why your candidates will not appear on Fox. To me, this is plain gutless of them. Just as they have ridiculed Republicans about being weak when it comes to a temporary stop of letting Muslims into the U.S. until they figure a way to adequately screen these people, they have said words like this: Republicans are weak if they fear women and children refugees. How can anyone expect them to be tough when they fear women and children? Well, let's flip that to the Democrats. If Clinton and Sanders are afraid of a news network to even offer a New Year's Eve message, are they really strong enough to be president? I mean, how petty can you get? To not offer a New Year's message that they were free to say anything they wanted is spineless, weak, and rude. To me, that is being chicken. What are they afraid of? Could it be that they are afraid to handle real questions on their real policies? Questions that may show weaknesses in their ideas? Debates are for us to learn about candidates, and the Democrats seem to be withholding that process. The Democratic Party so far has had 4 debates. 4! In the 2008 election, they had already had 14 debates by this time. Why is that? Well, the rumors are that the DNC chair, Debbie Wasserman Schwartz, is so intent on making sure Clinton gets the nomination that she has cut off any debate they may cast Clinton in a bad light. And the rumor is that Clinton is supporting her in this approach, if not even telling the DNC chair that is the way it is to be. The DNC has determined that Clinton appearing in a Fox debate can only hurt Clinton. And by reducing the number of debates, it also protects Clinton of making any gaffes, because so far, in every debate they have held, she has told some inaccurate statements. Fact Check has done the checks and found her errors. Now, for you Democrat supporters that are getting all bristled at me picking on the candidates on fact checks, yes, I know the Republicans have also made errors in some of their supposed facts during debates as well. And they have taken their lumps for it. That doesn't change the topic of this editorial. Please tell me why these candidates that are running for the most powerful position in the world are afraid of Fox News. Could it be they don't really want us to know them for real? Could it be they really don't want an open discussion of their proposals? Could it be they will only appear where the DNC has complete control of what is going to happen? By them ignoring Fox, they are telling their viewers that they don't matter to them. Sure, most of Fox's conservative viewers won't vote for either of them, but what about the targets of the Democrats? The women and independents that watch Fox. There is a huge audience that they could reach if they appeared on Fox. And to date, Clinton has not accepted even one interview on Fox. To Sanders and O'Malley's credit, they have at least accepted at least one interview each with a Fox reporter. And all the Republican candidates have accepted interviews from the left-leaning news agencies. But this supposed strong presidential candidate, Clinton, has not appeared. For everyone watching, face facts. Just as the Republican establishment is trying to control the Republican contest, so are the establishment Democrats. Except the Democrats are accomplishing the goal. While the Republican establishment has underestimated the anger at least half of the country holds towards the Obama presidency, which Clinton was a major part of. And to date, Clinton has declared the only way the Obama policies can continue is to get her elected to the presidency. And that is the position of the far left. Right now, Clinton and Wasserman Schwartz are in complete control of the Democratic campaign. It's going to be their way or no way. They are so afraid to actually face a conservative question that they won't even offer a New Year's message. If I was in Sanders or O'Malley's shoes right now, I'd be screaming to every news agency in the country, what is going on? I'd be screaming for more debates anywhere I could get one. In conclusion, so again I ask you Democratic supporters, please tell me why candidates Clinton and Sanders that are running for the most powerful position in the world are afraid of Fox News. So afraid that they won't even provide a New Year's message for us, the people. So afraid they won't accept a debate hosted by Fox News. Please tell me why. I'm Tom Winnick, and that's what I think. I'd like to know what you think. If you have any comments about this editorial or would like to discuss or recommend a topic, I'd like to hear from you. Please email them to info@kzgn.net. Now stay with us for weather and sports when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Lane for the weather. And we got rain out there, Lane.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, a series of storm systems will impact the western U.S. through the later part of the week, with heavy snowfall possible across the Sierra and heavy rainfall possible across parts of coastal California, which could lead to flooding in some locations. Temperatures across the nation: Carolinas at 35, Georgia at 42, Arkansas at 41, Northern Texas at 34, Arizona at 56, and Los Angeles at 58. And for us locally, tonight, a 70% chance of showers, mostly cloudy with a low around 34, south-southwest wind 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 15. Wednesday, a 50% chance of rain, cloudy with a high near 52, west-southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 25. Wednesday night, a 50% chance of rain, cloudy with a low around 35, south wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. Thursday, a 40% chance of rain, mostly cloudy with a high near 52, west-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 15. Thursday night, a 40% chance of rain, mostly cloudy with a high near 30, west-southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 15. And Friday, a 30% chance of rain, partly sunny with a high near 51 with a calm wind. And that is your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
Thanks, Lane. And now here's Tom Heck with sports.
And a very pleasant early Tuesday evening, and a very busy college football season is just about to end. We have the one game left, the championship game, which will be next Monday night. We'll see how Alabama does against Clemson. But if you've been away, if you took a trip, or if you just didn't have time to watch TV, it was a very interesting bowl season. There are now 40 bowls. That means you got to find 80 teams to play in those bowls. There were teams that were 5 and 7, under 500, playing in bowl games just because they didn't have enough teams that had 6 wins, which was supposed to be the mark to play a college bowl game. But how about the Cure Bowl? San Jose State a winner. They beat Georgia State. Here's my favorite, the famous Potato Bowl. Played up in Boise, Akron beats Utah State 23-21. How about the Celebration Bowl? Down in Atlanta, North Carolina A&T over Elkhorn State. Have you heard of the Boca Raton Bowl? I hadn't. Toledo beats Temple. I think everybody in the Mid-American Conference, if they got to the phone by the 15th ring, got in a bowl game this year. The Poinsettia Bowl. Boise State, a big winner over Northern Illinois, 51-7. Here's the GoDaddy Bowl. Georgia Southern, a big winner over Bowling Green, also from that Mid-American Conference. How about the St. Petersburg Bowl? I guess you have to have at least 4 bowls in Florida to make Florida happy. Marshall beats UConn in front of a handful of people. The Texas Bowl. LSU beats Texas Tech 56-27. That game held in Houston. The Armed Forces Bowl was a decent game for a while. California scores 56 points in that game. They beat Air Force 56-38. Then there's the Music City Bowl down in Nashville. Louisville comes up a winner. They beat Texas A&M 27-21. It would have been Johnny Manziel's senior year at Texas A&M. He probably should have stayed. Then we have the Belk Bowl. The Belk Bowl down in Charlotte, in case you're wondering where that was. Mississippi State routs North Carolina State. Then the Arizona Bowl. We've got Nevada over Colorado State. Arizona, another state that's got to have at least 4 or 5 bowl games also. Then there's the Russell Athletic Bowl played in Texas. It was Baylor over North Carolina. Then you've got the Military Bowl, not to be confused with the Armed Forces Bowl. The Military Bowl, Navy over Pittsburgh. Navy had a good year. They end up 11-2. Then there's the Foster Farms Holiday Bowl in San Diego. Nebraska beats UCLA 37-29. Boy, I picked the Bruins to do a lot better than that. They just didn't play very well. Then you've got the Independence Bowl, Virginia Tech over Tulsa. That was a high-scoring one of the whole bunch, 55-52. The Heart of Dallas Bowl, played in almost a snowstorm. Washington beats Southern Mississippi 44-31. And then the Sun Bowl in El Paso was anything but a driving snowstorm. Washington State, the winner in that one. Then the Miami Beach Bowl, Western Kentucky a winner. The New Orleans Bowl, Louisiana Tech a winner. I'm doing these bowls just so you can say you've heard of them. And also the New Mexico Bowl, Arizona over New Mexico. That was actually a pretty good game. Dan Davies has done a great job with that New Mexico program. They actually finished 7-6. Most wins they've had in, well, probably since I was born. And then the other bowl, the bowl that gets the best name, the Camellia Bowl. The Camellia Bowl, Appalachian State beats Ohio 31-28. Now the bowl games that everybody's heard of, but they weren't very good. They weren't very good at all. We had, in the Rose Bowl, Stanford, of all people, a total rout. They win. The Orange Bowl, Clemson, a total rout over Oklahoma. They will play in the national championship. The Cotton Bowl, Alabama, huge, 38-0 over Michigan State. Those weren't even close. The Citrus Bowl, Michigan 41, Florida 7. The Fiesta Bowl, it was Ohio State 44, Notre Dame 28. Now keep in mind, these are the big bowls. And the Sugar Bowl was even worse. Mississippi, a lopsided win over Oklahoma State. So, who will win the national championship? We'll talk more about that on our show Thursday. That's your sports for this very, very busy season on a Tuesday night. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. Also at KZGN-TV, now you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk coming up next.